Hey guys, it's your girl Alicia here and welcome back to my channel. Okay, so last month I had the privilege to be invited to speak in the Rising Star panel, and this was at the Women of the Channel's Leadership Summit event. Now that was a mouthful to say. But on a more serious note, the event was amazing. It was basically a place where women in tech just got together and they just discussed their experiences as a woman in technology and how we can just improve and progress and just get more women into STEM subjects, and more importantly, get them to stay there and get them at those high positions. So basically what this video is all about is my panel, which I did with two other amazing women, and it's just basically where we share our experiences being the younger generation as a female in technology, and for me especially as a female in engineering. And it's just something that I wanted you guys to hear as well, because I feel like it's just so important to just talk about these things more and discuss them and just get it out there. Leave a comment on your thoughts. I'd love to hear them, especially if you're a woman in technology and if you faced any struggles. I'd just love to hear your story, and I hope you enjoy this video.
I would like to now introduce our Rising Star panellists. We've got Tori Tompkins and Alicia Chowdhury. Now, just to set the scene, this is the first time either of them have spoken in front of such a large audience, so lots of nerves on the stage, so please be gentle and kind. They're here to talk to you about why they have got into STEM subjects, what their experience has been so far, both from university, life experience and early in their careers, and also their views about how we can encourage more young women into STEM subjects. So start off with Tori, if you can introduce yourself.
Hi everyone, I'm Tori and I'm a graduate from the University of Portsmouth. I graduated about 4 months ago and I work for Sophie at Datus as a data analytic consultant, and I've just been accepted to do my Masters in Big Data Science.
When we were practicing this, she'd only got the acceptance yesterday, so this morning I was like, I need to tell everyone that happened. And now Alicia, if you could introduce yourself as well.
Yeah, so my name's Alicia Chowdhury and I've recently graduated with a Master's in Chemical Engineering. I'm currently looking for jobs, so that's not for now. And I'm very passionate about just promoting diversity and inclusion in the workplace, especially technology.
Brilliant. So, Tori, if we could start with yourself, could you tell us a little bit about why you went into a STEM subject?
Yeah, of course. So I originally never considered computing. I never considered it because I've never really been exposed to it. So I wanted to be an engineer like my dad. So I got my first motorbike when I was 14 and he helped me build it up and taught me everything he knew. So when I came to pick my A-levels, I picked everything involving engineering, and that included computing. So it was during college that I was exposed to programming that made me realise that I loved computing and I loved technology, and that made me do my degree at the University of Portsmouth.
So when you went to the University of Portsmouth, first off, tell everybody what your degree was in.
Forensic computing and cybersecurity.
Anyone would like to tell me what that means later, that would be great. I still don't understand it. So when you went to university, can you tell us a little about your experience doing such a computing, programming heavy subject?
Yeah, so I loved my degree. It was great fun. But the one thing I did notice is that I was one of very few girls. So there were 6 out of a school of around 150, which I knew would happen, and I accepted it, and I didn't think it would be a problem. It wasn't a problem for the most part. I did have a little bit of trouble relating to some of my peers, and so I usually got quite good grades, and I was usually ahead in my assignments, but none of my peers or my classmates seemed to ask me for help and opinions like they did their other classmates. I never knew whether this was because I was a girl or maybe they didn't like me, but it was a sentiment that was shared with the other girls in my class. So.
Yeah, that's a real shame that you felt that your voice wasn't heard amongst your peers. And then I also know that when you were there, you went on a placement year, for the sandwich year there. How did you find that during your time at university? How did it compare, and kind of how was that experience when you got your first taste of going into the workplace?
So I did my placement year with Ernst & Young. I worked in their Forensic Technology and Discovery Services department. So anyone who's ever taken a placement year will probably tell you that it's quite a stressful experience. the application, you have to do exams, interviews, workshops, placement days, and this is inside like your exams and your normal schoolwork. So I found it quite stressful, and I turned to my friends and family to share the stress. And they tried to make me feel better, and they didn't mean it in that way, but they'd always tell me that I had a better chance than most because I was a girl, and there weren't very many women in the industry. And that upset me a little bit. I didn't want to get the job because I was a girl. I wanted to get it because I'm good at what I do.
Yeah, I think that's something that people can relate to now. I think that we feel there's a lot more of that. We don't just want to be a quota or a tick in a box. It's we actually want to be known and be promoted and be hired because we're actually good at what we do, not just because we tick a box of the diversity that's needed. So Alicia, if we could just go to you for a minute. So your degree is in chemical engineering. Could you tell us a little bit about why you got into chemical engineering?
It was completely random. I was not planning to go into engineering. I knew I wanted to go into the science-based field. That's why I chose science-based subjects at A-level. But I just didn't even consider the fact of going into engineering until a friend in my class, who's a girl, said that she was doing engineering, and that kind of got the clockworks going. So I was just like, engineering, let me look into that. That sounds interesting. And it was interesting. And I really had fun whilst doing it, but it just makes you think why I didn't and why so many females don't even consider doing engineering or technology or computer science. Like, the thought doesn't even go in your head, and it's kind of sad in a way how many females could have had the potential of having fulfilling STEM careers, but subconsciously they just didn't think that they could do it.
Yeah, brilliant. So you also mentioned as well, and we'll touch on that bit about how we can get them, encouraging them earlier. But I also know that a big thing for you is promoting diversity and inclusion in the STEM subjects as well. Could you just tell everyone a little bit about why that's important to you and how you go about doing it?
Yeah, so a bit of background. Whenever I revised any topics or modules, I always used to look at YouTube videos to really understand the concept of it. So one day I was just revising, and YouTube video after YouTube video, the person teaching it was always white and male. And then that's when it kind of hit me, wait a minute, there's no females that are teaching these kind of subjects, and even fewer that are women of colour. So it's no wonder females don't go for these kind of subjects. So that's why I kind of wanted to take it into my own hands, and I wanted to be the person that I wanted to see. So it started off by me making fun little maths videos for younger girls, where I teach them little things like algebra and fractions and stuff like that, to really get them to see maths in a different way and to see that girls can do it too. And that just grew on into me promoting all these different diversity issues that I faced or females that I knew faced. And basically I just wanted to create a platform that showed women that they could be whatever anything that they wanted to be, and that's what I'm currently doing now.
Brilliant. So I know that this is a topic that's really, really near and dear to you. So what is the one most important issue you think that relates to diversity and inclusion from your point of view?
I think it's just all about raising awareness that these issues do actually exist and it's actually a thing. You'd be surprised at how many people, just because it doesn't affect them, don't think that there's an issue with females in tech or females in the workplace. Like, they think that's just how it is. So I think raising awareness is a big thing, and it goes without saying, if I was a boy, I wouldn't have experienced what I experienced as a female engineer. So the chances of me talking about diversity issues would be extremely low. It just wouldn't happen. And I feel like another good point is that diversity just isn't about gender as well. It's about including all sorts of people from all sorts of backgrounds, regardless of their race, ethnicity, disability, sexual orientation. I feel like when we can understand that as individuals and as companies as well, that's when we can grow.
Brilliant. Thanks very much, Alicia. So now, both of you mentioned that neither of you started out thinking you'd go into the degrees and then the careers that you've gone into. And I think that we know, and I think that everyone will touch on this at some point, that we need to encourage more young women to go into these subjects. And I think that and it's really critical that we start talking to them earlier. And I think that mentors play a really, really crucial role in this. So I just wanted to kind of touch on that for a moment and kind of discuss about who your mentors are and how you've gone about finding them. So Tori, if you could start off.
Yeah, of course. So I'm really lucky that my company, Adatus, have a mentoring scheme. So for my first day, I was assigned a lovely mentor called Taz, and she's been really crucial in my successes in the first 4 years in this industry. She's really helped be an advocate, and she's pushed me and encouraged me to take opportunities that I probably wouldn't have been comfortable with.
So I'm just on that. So is Taz your only mentor, or have you got a number of mentors that you've helped with?
No, so I have a lot of people who consider mentors. I think Sophie, you're definitely one of them. I wouldn't be on the stage without Sophie, so thanks. I also have 2 other senior consultants at Adatus, both Scott and Paul, that I find that are really helping me technology-wise in the industry. And I also have mentors outside the company, so my old lecturers and my old peers at the university. So it's quite important for me to have my mentors from all backgrounds and all different stages of their own career.
Brilliant. How about yourself, Alicia? I mean, how have you gone about finding mentors?
I actually truly discovered how important and valuable mentors are pretty recently, like in the last year or so. So I don't have any mentors, and throughout my university years I struggled finding mentors. That's why I feel like it's a good thing for educational institutions and businesses and companies to get together and provide mentoring schemes. Studies actually show that women, whether it be in education or whether it be in their respective fields in their careers, often feel like they can't progress as much in tech fields in comparison to other fields. And that's why so many people drop out, or so many females just completely change their career paths. So I feel like having someone that's been through what you're going through and just advising you would make such a difference. And something as little as like an email every once in a while or a phone call would actually give females a sense of direction, and I feel like it would have given a lot of my peers more sense of directions as well if they had someone to confide with that been through what they're going through. So yeah, I feel like getting that.
Brilliant, yeah. So I think, right, it sounds like organisational schemes, making sure there's mentoring within there really helps. And I think, going into education institutions would really help as well. But I think what's also really important is young women need to actually find women that inspire them, that they look up to, and then going out and actually have the confidence, I think, to ask these women to be mentors to them. So I'm going to tell a really nice little story about Julie now, which I tell every time I get asked about mentors. So years ago, back at the beginning of my career, I was out at a conference in the US, and I was by myself, no one else there. Went to the first panel. Julie was on the panel. She was the only woman on the panel, and she was British, so I was like, right, I'm going to make a beeline for her, have a little chat, because I didn't know anyone else. And it was one of the best decisions I've ever made, because since then, going to make Julie cry next as well, it's going to be great. No, it was honestly, like, if I hadn't have done that, I wouldn't have had a lot of the opportunities that I've had of sitting on these stages either. Thank you, Julie. And also, she's been she's been an advocate, a huge champion of mine as well, and also a really good friend. So I'm really excited she's in the country for more than 24 hours today, so we can actually have a catch up. So it's really great. So you both mentioned, Alicia, you mentioned about in education institutions and how that would be really influential. What is it you think whether universities or secondary schools could be doing to actually get more, to help with these mentoring schemes? What could they be doing more of?
I feel like one good thing that they could be doing is discovery days. I think that would have really opened my eyes to the tech field during my high school years and even college. That's when either female students can come to the company or companies can go to the students. And I feel like it's a really good way of just getting the girls' hands dirty and just in the technology field. And it actually breaks down, I feel like it'll help break down a lot of negative perceptions that a lot of younger girls have about technology. Like I've heard girls actually say that you need to be super smart, super clever, excel in maths and physics and that sort of thing to go into technology, when that certainly isn't the case. Or that a job in technology is really boring and monotonous, and it's kind of like that one kind of thing, which again isn't the case. A job in tech, you can be doing one thing one day and another thing the next. So I feel like it'd help break down those really negative perceptions that they have, and workshops surrounding mechanics and robotics and coding can really bring an initiative and insightful way for younger females to view technology and STEM. And another thing, if they're seeing female seniors in their position, that's kind of like that representation thing going on. So subconsciously, again, they'll think that if they're doing it, I can do it too. So I feel like getting that started from an early age would really help impact younger females.
Brilliant. And just quickly as well then, Tori, how about yourself? What could universities and schools be doing more of to encourage more girls to go into STEM?
So I think visibility of role models and other women in STEM would really help show young girls that this is the women's industry, and to give them more career options as well. And I think another way to do that is to get them right before their GCSEs with code clubs or workshops or even just a career talk, in order to inform them about different careers they can have in tech and STEM, right from a young age.
Brilliant. Okay then, well, that's all we've got time for. So thank you both very much for being on the panel today, sharing your insights and braving those nerves. I'm really proud. So, could you join us for giving them a round of applause?